Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 592 of the DrunkNerds podcast. I'm your host, as always. I am Tyler, and joining me, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
Oh man, I'll tell you what. I'm already getting tired of this winter weather. And I've barely had it for like about a week where I've been living. But yeah, the week has been pretty busy. It started off kind of weird, and then with perpetual snowfall came on Thursday, and all of a sudden almost pretty chilly temperatures to the point where yeah, my workplace didn't even bother opening today because we're so concerned about people's well-beings and stuff while coming to and from work. But other than that, though, it's been an interesting impromptu, almost 4-day weekend so far. So,
Nice, nice.
but anyways, how have you been doing,
I'm doing
Tyler?
all right, clanging and banging as always. I am also over this weather. It's like negative 30 today. We've got 2 feet of snow this week. It's
Mm.
just miserable. Just trying to let the dog OUT. I don't want him to hear the word. Um, he's staring at me right now, so he understood. Um, but just trying to do all that is just a whole task. And then like he wants to do his whole routine, but after like 90 seconds, his feet hurt so bad he can't walk anymore. So it's like, yeah, I gotta keep letting him out frequently just to hopefully get him to go to the bathroom once. Um, so it's been a whole process the last couple of days. He's been up my ass because he's cold and he doesn't like it. And he's got to go to the bathroom, so he's always staring at me. And I'm like, I keep letting you out, but then you don't go anywhere. I just said the word. Damn it! No. I saw his ears perk up out of the corner of my eye when I said it. I keep doing it, and then you like I'm gonna go do my whole routine. I'm gonna wander around. Then he's like, I gotta find this perfect spot to go poop. And he's like, oh no, my feet hurt, and I gotta pick him up, and I gotta carry him back inside. I'm just sick of it, Gables. I'm not mad. I'm annoyed by him, but I love him so fucking much. Whatever, I'll get over it. Um, but I'm just I'm sick of it, Gables. The older you get,
Yeah.
it's just like man, like there's no value to this at all. At least when you're a kid, you got snow days and shit. Um, and there was like no like uh issues with the snow days. It's like cool, we just don't have to go to school. We got to go to school one less day a year. Now, if like you get called off
Yeah.
work, it's like cool. Well, all that work just is just, all your work is piling up. Now that you're not there, so now like you can't really enjoy not being at work because like cool. Now I think about all the work that I would have today. That's gonna take me 10, 12 hours. Now I have all that plus I got another day when I go back to work. I'm gonna have all that plus another day's work on top of it. So basically, it's
Yep.
just been playing catch up all week. So it's not been fun, but what is fun, though, Gables, is this podcast. And every week, Gables and I get together and talk about video games, everything we love about them. If you like all this, like our show, please like, follow, subscribe. Check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, anywhere podcasts are on. We're available in all those places. Like, follow, subscribe, hit 5-star reviews, leave comments, whatever you can do that really, 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 really would help us out. So we appreciate it if you do that for us. Um, but Gables, um,
Mm.
it's our first like regular show of the year. It's our first like regular
Yeah.
show in like almost a month. It's just been kind of crazy. December is always kind of a weird month because you got like Game Awards rumors. You got the Game Awards themselves. Then we basically go right into like the holidays. So then Gables and I do like a year in review show. Then we do Game of the Year, and then we do a Fantasy Critic draft. We did so like we were actually going to take last week off, and then we ended up doing a whole ended up recording and doing an extra podcast at the Fantasy Critic draft. So if you guys want to check that out, you can. It's 591. We just did it a few days ago, so check that out. Well, it went up a few days ago, so if you want to check it out, really would appreciate it. It's always a fun thing we do every year. Um, well, it's our third year of doing it, but it's been fun doing. Yeah, we're back. It's a normal show, and sometimes January it's a weird month because it's just like all right, cool. It's a fresh year. It's like cool. Like it's so weird. Last year was just literally a couple weeks ago, but it's just like all right, cool. Like I don't give a shit about anything that happened last year. All those games that came out, don't care anymore. I don't want to play them. I don't want to hear anything about them. I don't give a fuck anymore. I don't care about anybody's game of the year stuff anymore. I'm over it. I want to hear about the new shit. And usually this time, sometimes January is like we're just kind of in a holding pattern, but um, there's been a lot of news, Gables. There's been a lot of news, and so let's just get
Yes.
into it. Um, there was a lot of rumors the last couple weeks that there was going to be a like some sort of Xbox developer underscore direct this month, which we had, I believe, at the end of January last year. And that's where like Hi-Fi Rush was shadow drop, stuff like that. So it was revealed though officially that we are getting one on Thursday, January 18th. It is at noon Pacific time, 2 p.m. Central time. And so far, I believe one, two, three, four games have been confirmed that will be there. We're gonna get more than 10 minutes of
Right.
gameplay for Indiana Jones from Machine Games. That's also being headed up or executive produced by Todd Howard. We are also getting our first like real deep dive into Avowed from Obsidian. That's like that Skyrim looking game of theirs. Um, uh, Ara History Untold from Oxide Games. It's so that is something that's been I think it was revealed last year or maybe 2022 um, at one of their at the Summer Game Fest for Xbox. That's from like apparently these are like former creators of like Civ. So it's like basically kind of like a Civilization. If you're a Civilization fan, it's one of those. And then last but not least here, Hellblade 2 from Ninja Theory. Apparently we're gonna see some more of that. So um, then last year we had like like they kind of said here's all the games that are gonna be shown. It was more deep dive. We got some like maybe we got some release. We got a lot of release dates last year on these on the games that were there, and
Yeah.
then we got Hi-Fi Rush was like the big like announce and reveal. Like that was the secret there. Um, I think it's fair to say there's probably gonna be something another secret there, but Gable's like kind of looking at what we got right now before we get into like the secret, what we think the secret could be, or if we think there will be one. Um, what's your feelings on a Xbox Developer Direct?
Well, honestly, my immediate thoughts about it is I'm kind of interested in seeing the full extent of the gameplay of the Indiana Jones game. I mean, I'm not gonna lie though, that's probably the most interesting thing I wanted to try to see out of what they have going right now. The second being Avowed, but seeing what Todd Howard is able to orchestrate with like an Indiana Jones game, what this is going to look like, and if it's going to be like a third person or a first person style of game, we don't know yet. We've only know that it had been announced a number of years ago. But I'm of the sort that believes that there is supposed to be maybe a fifth game. I mean, there are rumors that people have been suggesting that could be a fifth game that could lead to a stealth announcement. I kind of feel like that after last year, that is kind of more likely to happen. That we may have an additional game that they're not even talking about, like maybe like a one more thing sort of at
Yeah,
the end.
yeah,
Because you know how some companies do that, to where they have a set amount of things they're going to announce, and all of a sudden they want to end the show with a bunch of people
yeah.
happy or incredibly angry.
It's kind of like
With
almost required at this point to have the one more thing. So
yes, yes, and that's partially because
yeah,
of Nintendo. Let's
no,
just be
that's like
perfectly
that is
honest.
entirely because Nintendo, like the one more thing was created by them. So like now if
Mm.
like a show like if a show just ends, it's like oh we're not gonna get the one more thing now. It's like all right, uh yeah yeah no I agree with you like um
That's the thing though. It's because Nintendo started doing that and stuff. People have been naturally now conditioned to the point where if any other major company or any other like developer goes and does like an event like this, they're always expecting like the audience is expecting something like a one more thing or something that's going to be even like crazier, to set the tone of it,
yeah yeah no I don't know if it'll be the one more thing is like the hidden game. I think it'll be like Hi-Fi Rush wasn't the one more thing. It was like I think it was like right before the last thing, which I think Redfall was like the big finale because they gave the release date.
Right.
I think Hellblade sounds like Hellblade 2 is probably gonna be the finale. At least like going based off the order of which they talk about them in the event here. Usually, like the kind of the formula is have something big at the beginning, big in the middle, big at the end. So maybe you start with Indiana Jones, hidden thing in the middle, and with Hellblade 2, the one more thing release date. Um, and that's kind of
Oh,
I feel like if you're gonna talk about it so soon after you just did this big trailer at like you had the song, and the trailer at Game Awards just over a month ago, and it was like oh okay we're
right.
not gonna release date. It's like that kind of sucks, but okay whatever like take your time. Obviously like I want a release date obviously, but like I'm super pumped for this game. Like as a Final Fantasy Rebirth like this is my most anticipated game for this year. Um, yeah, I just wonder when the fuck when this game is coming. So if you're gonna talk about it now and you're making a big deal about the fact you're talking about it, I at this point, like if you don't have a release date, I think it's a little fair to be a little upset about like not at least giving me like a timetable, like hey, summer or something,
Right.
give me a window, like like I said, summer, August or whatever. There's been the rumors that Indiana Jones might be actually is planned to come out this year. They were hoping I guess have it come out in 2022, but then COVID happened that blew all those up. So maybe like if 2022 was actually the original plan, it's been Machine Games hasn't put out. Like, I guess they put out they put out Wolfenstein 2 in 2017. They had the Wolfenstein game with the two
Mm,
daughters. I can't remember that one. That came out in 2019. And that wasn't even a full fledged game. And then they had the VR game, which was like I don't know if that was actually them that did that. Um, so it's been about basically 7 years almost, like, well, seven, I guess 6.5, we'll say, since Wolfenstein 2, a full fledged game, came out. So yeah, I mean, I guess the
right.
timetable makes sense. They did announce it a few years ago as well. So I'm curious with you, Gables, is about seeing it. I do think a little bit of the bloom was off the rose for this one, because of like just kind of how the movie performed last year. I think it was kind of a realization that maybe, I don't know. I think a lot of people like, oh, we like people thought Indiana Jones was bigger than it actually was. And then it kind of that movie came out and it just, I mean, it lost money. It was just, it made a couple hundred million in it didn't even like meet the, like, didn't even make enough to like match the budget of the movie. So um, I wonder if, like,
Mm,
I don't know if that's just because it's been 30 years since they've had a good Indiana Jones. And it's been, so you talk about multiple generations of people that don't know that weren't alive when a good Indiana Jones movie came out. Um,
hmm.
but I don't know. I mean, I think if you push it like, hey, this is the people that make Wolfenstein. This is Todd Howard, the guy that behind all these like big franchises that you love, is here working on this one, and it's a passion project of his. Like, maybe you put him out forefront, like that can build a lot more excitement. But I'm with you. I think, yeah, first person, third person, because obviously Machine Games is known for first person. But it'd be kind of weird to, like, hey, we have an Indiana Jones game, but you never see him. Would be kind of weird. Um, I don't know. I'm excited to see that. I'm curious if like that is actually coming out this year or not. I wouldn't be shocked if they say it's this year and then actually is next year. Um,
Right.
then what was the next game here? Oh, Avowed. I'm excited to see Avowed. Like, it was interesting because like the game we saw 3 years ago, and then the game we saw, I believe, last June, like, were like looked entirely different. They like completely overhauled the graphics and everything.
Yes.
But I'm excited to see what they can do with it. Like, I ended up actually like really liking Outer Worlds, like based on their Fallout game that they made in 2019. So I'm excited to see what they do with this one. Like, I'm not, like I've talked about, like, Bethesda games have been like, I love Fallout 3, and then really was didn't really get into another one until Starfield again. Um, so I'm excited to see like what this team, what Obsidian can do. Like, I'm a big fan of theirs. Like, obviously they made Stick of Truth, South Park Stick of Truth, which was my game of the year in 2014. Outer Worlds was really good.
Hmm.
I ended up just playing that last June actually. And then I'm excited to see what they do with this one. And like that was planning to come out this year. So like, then if we're talking about potentially another secret game that would maybe we know about, but they're not like talking about being there. I don't know about shadow dropping, but there's been rumors of the Double Fine next game apparently is like being talked about possibly being here, or like
Hmm.
there's been something going on with Double Fine like recently that people are like the speculation that could be the big secret game, like maybe not shadow drop, but like maybe it's revealed there. Because I don't I'm not expecting a shadow drop like those. You can't really expect those every time. I feel like you know having that at the first developer direct is good. Like, hey, this adds to like the prestige of what the developer direct can be. So I think
Right.
that's smart to, like, hey, like big things can happen at these. Like, we're gonna put these on the level of like like a direct. This is bigger than a state of play. Like, big things can happen here. It's not just updates and stuff. It's not a state of play. It's bigger than that. And yeah. Then obviously Hellblade 2, like I talked about, I'm just ready for a release date. I don't need to see anything more of this game. I didn't need to see anything of this game after they announced the game was in development.
Hmm.
I'm excited to see this one. I plan on doing a live reaction Thursday night, but it might be late Thursday night. Like, I'll just stay off the internet, and then when I get home, but it's probably gonna be like I said, it's probably gonna be like 7, 8 o'clock Central Time by the time I actually get a chance to watch it. So, I don't know, Gables, if you are able to not watch it, let me know, and then we can live react together. But like like I
All right.
said though,
Sure.
it's gonna like unless the weather's really bad and I don't have to like work or something, um, it'll probably be late in the day. So yeah. Also, there's the stuff going on with like Hi-Fi Rush and stuff possibly coming to Switch, like Sea of Thieves coming to PS5. There's all those rumblings shit. Gables. I think that, like, I always talk about, like, I've curated my Twitter to the point that like I see very little bullshit anymore. Um, and to me, like in my like bubble of like what Twitter is to me of like, hey, it's 99% sports, like NFL, NBA, basketball, or wrestling, and video games. Like
Mhm.
I to me, like I thought the console wars were over years ago. Apparently, it's not Gables. I had no idea. It's still very much a thing. Like Xbox people are losing their minds. We got Nintendo and PlayStation people dunking on Xbox people. It's like my God. I thought this was over years ago, but apparently it's still a thing. And like a lot of people are like saying they're gonna get rid of their Xbox or they're done with Xbox. It's like I don't know. Like to me, like if like they start putting out like if Halo 6 or 7 or where the fuck the next Halo is comes out day and date on Switch 2 and PS5, I could understand your argument of like, why the fuck did I buy an Xbox? Because like if I could just play this on PlayStation instead, I can get that argument
Right.
to a certain extent.
Yeah,
Obviously, like
absolutely.
the levels of which you're going to is a little insane, but I can understand your argument. Hey, I bought an Xbox because I thought I could only play this here. Um, if you could like most gamers are not like us where they have all the consoles. Like a lot of people they buy one. Maybe they buy one in the Switch or something, but they don't buy
Yeah.
PS5 and Xbox. Um, but like nobody bought an Xbox Series S or X to play Hi-Fi Rush. Nobody bought an Xbox
Mm.
One or well, maybe not nobody. Very few people bought one to play Sea of Thieves, or like
True.
I doubt not a lot of people. I doubt not a substantial amount of people signed up for Game Pass that already had an Xbox to play Hi-Fi Rush or Sea of Thieves. It may be like people like me that already had it. Like this is my game of the year last year, Hi-Fi Rush. But spoiler alert, if you haven't watched our game of the year content we did a couple weeks ago, it's my game of the year. I love that game. Um, but I understand that like probably not a lot of people went out of the way like now like I have an Xbox but I don't have Game Pass. Now I'm gonna sign up for Game Pass, play this game. Like it's people like me like that have Game Pass that it just kept us keeping Game Pass. So like these games probably like hey goes on the Switch. Let's say it just goes on Switch and it sells really well over there. That's great. That's great, especially for someone like
Yeah,
me that likes
absolutely.
like that loves Hyper Rush. Game of the year 2023, one of the greatest games of all time. That was my game of the year. That just means more than likely we're gonna get a sequel because like hey this game is
Absolutely.
marketable. It actually like people will buy and like will spend money on this game. Like that's great. Sea of Thieves, it's a licensed game that is 7 years old. It's 7 years old. Like they've
Yes, it
maxed
is.
out the marketplace on the Xbox and PC. They put it on PS5. That's only good for gamers. That's only good for you. That means more people are going to jump in, and that means more people are going to play it. So like I don't. It's so fucking weird to me. Like I said, they start if they, Gear 6 is day and date, then we can discuss some shit here. That's a discussion worth
Hmm.
having. But I
Absolutely.
don't foresee the big games. I don't see the holy trinity of Forza, Gears, and Halo, and then I
Halo.
don't even see Starfield coming to game or coming to PlayStation. Maybe not. Starfield. Maybe I can see that maybe a couple years down the line, but like the big in like Microsoft franchises, I don't see coming to like PlayStation or Switch or anything like that. But those smaller games or these licensed games that have been around for years that just they're capped on a marketplace, why wouldn't they? You know, we're talking about like I talk about like Helldivers 2 coming out on PlayStation in like a couple like I think just a few weeks, maybe about a month or so. And it's like cool, it's coming to PlayStation 5. It's coming PC day and date, but it's like cool. It's a $40 license game. Like how's that? It's gonna be we're gonna forget about the game by March. You know,
Yep, pretty
it's like
much.
it's a miracle that Sea of Thieves is still like we talk about all the time. There's like these great games come out all the time. They're live service games or good games come out as live service games, but they don't sustain an audience very long, and no one cares anymore. It's great. Sea of Thieves is still around, doing well 7 years later. They
Yes, it
got to do
is.
something else with it. It's like hey, newsflash: Minecraft Legends came out last year, day and date on fucking PS5.
Yes, it
So
did.
what are we bitching about? I don't know. It's weird. I sorry. I just had a rant about that. I mean, does this change anything? Does this affect you at all, Gables? That potentially Sea of Thieves and Hi-Fi Rush are coming to other consoles?
Honestly, it doesn't really change much for me personally because whether or not they come to the other systems or not, I mean, it doesn't it doesn't really matter to me because I pretty much have like a lot of the various systems
Yeah.
anyway. But all it is if these franchises do make it to other platforms, it's more money for Microsoft
Yeah.
in the end because you'll have a more wider variety of the audience, especially for like Hi-Fi Rush, which did admirably well when it was stealth launched last year around this time. But yeah, seeing something like a Hi-Fi Rush, say on Switch or on PS5 and stuff, especially if it gets like a physical copy of it, which may or may
Yeah.
not happen, that absolutely would be a good seller because you have what's arguably the best Xbox Series like S and X game from
Yeah.
last year available on either PS5 or
Yeah.
Switch. I mean, that's a win-win for everybody in that
Yeah.
regards
Yeah. I mean, it,
because the sales from that, like you just touched upon, that sells well on all the multiple platforms. You can make a
yeah.
sequel to it.
Yeah. Exactly. So I mean, I still understand it. Um, Going to the next one here, Gables. So Jeff Grubb is saying that I don't think this is big. This is a major surprise either here. Jeff Grubb is reporting that there is a state of play, PlayStation state of play plan coming in the next few weeks. But he did say don't get your hopes up for this one, as it's most likely one to like meet contractual obligations, which is something we've kind of really learned
Uh,
about like a few years ago during like kind of during 2020 during COVID, where remember we like almost every month we were getting those Nintendo Direct partner showcases or what like Nintendo partner directs were what they
yes.
were called. And I was like, come to find out, like they were like it was like they were pretty bad. They're like 13 minutes, and it'd just be like these old games, like these games have been on other platforms for years, just getting ported over to the Switch. It's like, why are these like this is stuff that we would normally see in a big direct? That was just like, you know, why are these? Why are they doing this all of a sudden? And they didn't do it again after that. Like I think they did it in 2020 and 2021. They never did it again. And then we kind of learned from there is like basically when these studios make these market or these like big the big three make marketing deals with these other studios and their games. Basically, they like there's a like when they talk about hey we're gonna give you this much um, dollars worth of publicity, state of plays, showcases, um, E3 press conferences, whatever. I guess there's like basically a dollar amount in there, and like there's an equation of like, hey, this is what it's worth. So when if that's kind of what it is, like they make deals. Hey, we're gonna put it on these things by this date, and then it usually that's kind of what's probably what's happening. I think that's kind of honestly, I think that's kind of where state of plays kind of came from. Maybe is like, especially as like these kind of popped up after around the time that PlayStation completely pulled out of E3 is when we started seeing these things. It's like, cool, well, we can't, this kind of a thing. And I've always talked about like state of plays. I kind of keep my uh, hype in check a little bit, or I try to, because these like we've seen some really bad ones, but there's been some surprises. We get like Resident Evil 3 is there, or Street Fighter 6 was revealed at one. Tekken 8 was revealed at one. We had a Final Fantasy 7 8
Yep.
Rebirth, or Final Fantasy 7 8. What did I say? What? Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth trailer last year at one. So obviously there are examples of where they were actually a lot bigger than we thought. But I'm not super pumped for this one. Some of the stuff like Gables like trying to keep it in check of what I am expecting here. Like at most, if it is just like, hey, we're just meeting contractual obligations. Some games that like there's games that like they have marketing deals with, so like we know they have marketing deals with like Suicide Squad. That's coming out February 2nd, I believe. So like I could see them doing that. Some other stuff here. They have remember the game Little Devil Inside Gables?
I do briefly, only because I did bid on the Fantasy
Yeah.
Critic thing and it never did come
They
out.
did a whole. They announced this. This is one of the first games they revealed for the PS5 back in 2020. Or it was
Yep.
one. I think it was at the original like PlayStation showcase they did. Um, then they did a whole at the end of 2021. They did a whole or 2021 2022. I can't remember. They did a whole state of play just for this game, showing gameplay and all this stuff.
Yep.
And it came. People were actually really excited about like the little bit of gameplay we got like a few years ago. And then they showed like a whole 20-minute long state of play for it. And everybody's like, this is kind of the game. And like we just like hey, it's coming out next year. And we just like, yeah, it was into 2021, and we haven't seen it in over 2 years.
Nope.
So maybe that shows up there. I don't know. Stellar Blade is another game that was another game that was actually revealed at the original showcase back in 2020. That was supposed to come out last year, ended up getting delayed to this year. Like that can like I think it's supposed to be an early 2024 game, so maybe that's here. Rise of Ronin, which we know a lot about. That's the Team Ninja game that's coming out like March 22nd.
Hmm.
Helldivers 2. I'm sure they're going to talk about it a little bit because that's an internal game, but I'm sure they're going to give it one last push before it comes out. Pacific Drive is a game they've heavily marketed, and Gable's most anticipated game for the year, Foam Stars. So um, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like on like obviously I'm sure there's gonna be shit that we don't know about that's gonna be there, but that's like the level of which I'm anticipating at most. What about you, Gills?
I can I can see what you mean, but also with like contractually obligated stuff. I mean, it could be like just more of like sports games in general too. I mean, let's think of it this way. It could be something to where they could advertise for the next like baseball game or the next like freaking
Well,
basketball
they don't
game or
do well.
whatsoever.
The basketball NBA 2K isn't going to come out until they don't start marketing that until into the summer because the game comes out in October. Madden doesn't
Okay,
usually get revealed till July, so I don't see anything like that. Um, EA usually kind of has a deal going on with Xbox mostly too because of like obviously they get Game Pass Ultimate
right.
stuff. So like I don't even think the NCAA football would be there. Um,
MLB The Show though could be potentially
uh,
there. I
yeah,
mean, it is to run that category and stuff to where does have its yearly
yeah, it's
releases
in
usually
April.
inside of the
Oh yeah,
March,
and in March, I think it's
March
in
or
the March. And you're
April.
right. Yeah, I don't even think they really. I don't know if they. I mean, I'm sure there might be a commercial, but I don't even think they really heavily push that either. Because especially now that's goes third party, it goes across platforms. Yeah, I guess.
Well, yeah, I mean, even if they just go and do like a 5 minute blib of like what the next MLB the Show
yeah.
game is going to be, I
I
mean,
don't need
that's
5 minutes.
still
Please
like kind of
God,
like a
please
contraction
God,
type of
don't give
thing,
me five
maybe.
minutes of. I don't need to see what MLB the Show is for 5 fucking minutes. Gibbs, I don't even care. Like I love Madden. I play 200 hours of Madden every year. I don't want to watch a 5 minute long thing about Madden. So, like, please, like, I don't need to know the minute details of MLB the Show. Um,
But other than that, that's just assuming that there is going to be like a PlayStation like kind of state of the play, and it's also going to be assuming that for mostly what they're going to be talking about is stuff that we probably
yeah.
already know.
I mean,
But even if it is, though, I mean,
yeah. I mean, there's a decent yeah,
it is
there's a
what it
decent amount of
is.
stuff that like they can talk about. My hope is that we get a Stellar Blade release date because I am actually kind of interested in that game. Like,
That'd be nice.
I don't know if I want to pay $70 for that game, but like it could be a good game that like if it's $40 in a couple months, I want to pick up, or if it comes out in, like a dead spot where there's just nothing to play, then I might pick it up. But like it looks like that game I think will be like a fun 7.5, 8 out of 10 style game, despite the jiggly boobs that make me very uncomfortable. Um, and Gables look into that one here. So this isn't rumored. People freaking out saying Jeff Grubb is reporting it. All he's saying is that you can assume it because for 5 straight years we've had a Nintendo Direct in February. So I
Yeah.
just want to point out he's not reporting that. He's just saying, hey, it's pretty safe to say there's a Direct in February. Um, so I'm
And he has a
yeah
point because that's happened 5 straight
yeah
years. A Nintendo Direct in
yeah. And I think the
February.
other 2 years, like the 2 years previous to that, were like in January. So like you're usually
Yeah.
obviously the first couple months of the year. I'm all right. I'm just gonna ask a question. I think I know the answer, and I think I agree with you, Gables. Do you think we see the Switch 2 at this Nintendo Direct?
At this Direct, huh? Oh boy. I mean, when I made my guesses last year and stuff, they were way off the mark. We didn't hear anything about Nintendo's next system during
Oh,
that
because you thought
stuff.
you thought it was last year, right? It was gonna be revealed last year.
Yeah, I thought it
Uh,
was last year, but now that we're going through and we're in this situation right now with the rumors of specs, with the rumors of potential release dates, even like a supposed leak of the launch
well, that
month,
was Game
thanks
Shark.
to,
That's now AI Shark. That said
yeah,
September, but then they said
yeah.
that they're just guessing. So
Hmm. Yeah, that's the thing though. That's the thing though. That's why I was saying it's like potential like
yeah,
rumor ass type of things. I don't think it's the right time
yeah,
really to announce the new system right now. I mean, they got plenty of games down the line that they want to advertise before attempting to reveal the new system. If we're gonna get a reveal of the new system, it's gonna be around summertime.
yeah.
That's what I
Yeah,
think.
that's kind of where I'm thinking. I don't think I highly doubt it's gonna be like if it's gonna be I put it like a 3% chance it'll be there at this thing. I don't even think it will be revealed at a direct. The last I think three consoles that were like announced to be in development from Nintendo were at
Hmm.
their like financial the quarterly financial like discussions. So like the Wii U, the
Right.
3DS, the DS, the Revolution, the Switch were all like hey
Yep.
or the NX at that point. We're all being revealed that they were like being worked on. Like they actually discussed it was talking to the shareholders. So I think
Right.
that I don't know when the next quarterly financial thing would be. I imagine
Wouldn't the quarterly financial stuff be
well
like
December 30
right near the end of the first?
December 31st was the end of Q3.
Hmm,
So
yeah,
maybe they mention it at
March.
they maybe I don't I think that they would it'd be February when they do like the quarter like they discuss all the quarters like the how they did for that for the
Right.
October through December I think would be in February. Maybe they mention it there. I'm sure someone's gonna ask them about it. There's a Q&A section.
Possibly. Yeah.
Um, I could see them maybe announcing it there. Um, yeah, I'm with you though. I think like if it's planning on coming out this year, which I think it's safe to say that it will be. Um, I think we'll probably hear about it close to the summer. Um, people are like I've said for a long time now. People keep saying, well, with the Switch, they revealed it in October, and then they showed it off in January. They released it 6 weeks later in March. It's like this is a different company now. Like they announced the NX 2 years before it came out because the Wii U was dead. 2 years,
Right.
like well before, like 3-4 years before the thing came out. So they just like
Right. Their initial. You're correct though, Tyler. I mean, their initial plans and their initial like guidelines with their next system will be totally different than opposed to what it was with the Switch because you still had Iwata that was at the
yeah
helm too with that last bit of things before he
yeah
passed. But yeah, with Nintendo structure and stuff, they want to really capitalize upon their last system with the Nintendo Switch. So I could see technically like a new gimmick, but it's not going to be like something that's maybe having to do with controls or anything. It could be something that it could be something that's just more of the
yeah
same of like what we have currently, like how other game systems would be. But other than like that, guessing involving anything, I mean, if I had to pick like really a month where it could potentially be like announced, I mean,
What do you think?
granted,
By
you
announced, you
did
mean like
bring up,
see it? Okay.
yeah, I'm thinking about
Okay.
seeing it. I'm not saying like about announcing like, oh, this is in
Yeah.
development, blah
Okay.
blah blah. No, I'm talking about us seeing it maybe like around
Yeah.
May. I want to say the month
Yeah.
of May.
I really don't think we'll see it before the end of the fiscal year. So like I'm talking like post April. So I'm with you. I'd say like May June ish
Yeah.
maybe. Maybe we see it. But I think we'll know. I think, but what they'll probably do is they're going to announce a conference of some sort. It won't be a direct in like, hey, it's there.
Hmm.
Like they're going to tell us in advance, it's going to be there. Is what I think. I think they're going to make a big
Well,
deal about it.
exactly, dude. I mean, it makes sense to me. It's like you announce it in May, then you wait until like September to
Yeah,
release it.
I would be honestly. I've always said like after the Switch came out in March, I was like just every console should just come out in March. That way, people that really want it can get it in March, and then like the people that can get it day one, then like people that want it for Christmas, you don't have to fight with the people like the thing launching as well. Like, we can just avoid all that. And then we've heard about the big reason why this thing
Right.
is coming out this year instead of last year is because they want to build up stock, so they're not going to be short stock. Well, it's going to happen regardless. Scalpers are gonna
Yes,
fuck
it
us
will.
immediately anyways. Um,
And it's Nintendo, for God's sake. They know how to do artificial
yes,
scarcity with their
nobody.
systems and their games too,
Yes,
despite what
yes,
they
they are. No
say.
one's better at it than they are. So, um, yeah, I'm with you on that one. What about Metro Prime 4? Do you think we see it here?
Do I think we see
Or
it
give
at
me
the
give
next
me percentage
direct?
chance that we'll see it.
I say a thirty
Okay.
percent
Okay.
chance. And the reason why I say a 30% chance is I feel like more than likely, if it is going to be showcased, it's not going to be showcased at the start of this year for the direct. I'm thinking that it's going to be more closer towards a direct towards the summer, alongside of the potential announcement there of their next system.
Okay. So you think it'll be a launch game?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm
Okay.
thinking. I'm thinking Metroid Prime 4 is going to be a launch game, as well as the next new Mario game and the next new Mario Kart game in that
You
time
think we're gonna get
window.
all three at
But
launch?
that's the thing that I'm thinking about here. If it's all three at launch, that would be something uncharacteristic of Nintendo because they usually
That'd be
space out
insane.
a lot
Yeah.
of their. It would be
I
insane.
I think. Go
I
ahead.
wouldn't.
Go ahead.
Well, to finish what I'm saying though, thinking back on it, I don't know if that's probably. I don't think that's actually kind of like a thing that could potentially happen now that I think about it. Because if you have the three major games all at once in that same launch window, and I'm talking about a launch window, not like a launch day, like I'm saying a couple months
Yeah, like the first like
after and
6 months.
stuff. Yeah, like the first 6 months. I think maybe one or two of the possible things right there. But I still think that Metroid Prime 4 would be a launch game. But the other two, that's still up in the air.
Yeah. Um. I, when we talked about this on the Fans Critic podcast about Metroid Prime 4, I said that you look at Nintendo's usually they put out a new console. They have like and this isn't just Nintendo. This is like most console. Like PlayStation 5 came out. We had Miles Morales as like in like the big game. Then like that was like the showpiece game, and then we had like Demon Souls was like a tier down. Then we had like a little what's that little big planet Sackboy's Big Adventure shit, kind of like that. There's tiers
Yeah,
to it. Like we look at like
spinoffs.
um
Yeah.
fucking Wii U came out. We had the new Super Mario Brothers, and we had the fucking what was that? The fucking dumbass like motion game. Oh, was that the Nintendo World thing? I don't remember. Anyways, the packing game.
Was it Nintendo
Yeah,
Land or
whatever
something
it
like
was.
that?
Yeah. So like, um,
It was to the Wii U game
yeah.
tablet. Yeah.
So or like with the Switch, we had 1-2 Switch, and we had Zelda. Like, I think that's kind of like we're
Mm-hmm.
gonna have like the big game, and I think that's gonna be a 3D Mario. And then we have like the other like the other big game that's from them, but it's like well I should say big. Then we have the other game from them. I think Metro Prime 4 is too big is not big enough to be the game to sell. The people will buy this thing regardless, but it's not the thing that people aren't going to buy
Mm.
this thing to play Metroid. The mass audience, like Metroid
You
Dread.
know,
Go ahead.
you're exactly right. I don't think that a Metroid game exactly would be like the selling point, but that doesn't rule out the possibility of maybe the next Mario Kart.
Well, so this is my point. Is
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
think we're gonna have two big things from that launch. I think I you
right.
kind of look at how they spaced out the Switch. We had Zelda at launch, and about
Hmm.
6 weeks later we had Mario Kart, which was just 8 Deluxe. Then about a couple months after
Yes.
that we had Arms, and a month later we had Splatoon 3. Then we had Mario plus Rabbids. Then we had Mario Odyssey. Like it was just an onslaught of like games. I don't know if it's gonna be that good. Obviously, it helped out because they basically just stopped supporting the Wii U a couple of years in advance, so they just built up a
Yep.
stockpile of great games to play. And Nintendo is known for like sitting on games for a long time, so they could be doing that with
Oh,
shit as
absolutely.
well.
Yes.
Like there's that rumored Fire Emblem remake they're doing. Um, so I think with that 3D Mario at launch, and then there's gonna be something else that's mid tier at launch as well that maybe we don't know about. Maybe it's something we're not
Mm,
thinking of. But I think Metroid Prime
potentially.
4 is just too big of a game to be the second game, but it's too small of a game to be the game. Like Metroid Dread is the best selling Metroid game of all time, and it's sold less than 4 million copies. Um, I
Right.
think we'll get a Mario Kart game in the first half of next year. I think it's what's gonna happen. Like Mario Kart 9's got like is done. I bet that game has been done for a long time, or at least
Yep.
the idea of what the game like it's close to done or it's been done for a very long time, or they've just been kind of like dick around with it, not fully going into it for a long time, and like now they're like working on it or something. But I do see. I think we're gonna see a lot from them. We're gonna see all the big shit um, that they're working on this year. I don't think it's all going to hit this year, but I think we're going to see the next big Pokemon game. I think we're going to see multiple Pokemon games. We're going to see the one that's coming this year, and we're going to see the big one. That's the Gen 5. Would that Gen 5 would be the black and white? Is that Gen 5, Gables?
Yeah, that's
All
that's
right. I
basically black and white
I
Gen
think we'll
5.
see whatever that's going to be, whether that's a Legends Arceus whether it's a Let's Go game or if it's like the fucking Shining Wizard and Dribbling Basketball, whatever that Gen 4 remasters were that sucked ass. I can't remember what the call is, like Shining Diamond or something. I don't remember. Anyways, um, like I think we'll get that, and that might be the game that comes out this year. But I think we might see like the next big thing from them. Maybe it's not Gen 10, but maybe something like that's big. Maybe it is like a Legends Arceus is like the next big thing because that sold extremely well. That sold like 15, like quietly sold like 15 million units on the Switch. So I could see that. Um, I think we'll see potentially something from Zelda. I don't think it's gonna be the next big Zelda game, but I mean, what's Grezzo been working on? There's been like some hubbub about an Ocarina remake. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's just internet talk. Could just be Reddit talk. But there's been that around for a while now. Like I said, there's that Fire Emblem remake stuff going on for a long time. Um, I think we're gonna hear a lot from Nintendo this year. We're gonna know a lot about what's coming from them.
Mhm.
But I'm not saying it's all coming this year. But yeah. Anyways, what are you feeling about what I just said there? I know it's a lot, but
Well, definitely it's a lot, but that's the thing though with Nintendo. It's so mysterious about what they generally do with their lineup towards the start, even towards the near the end of the year, though, that it can almost be
yeah,
anything. But one consensus thing that we understand is there is going to be a new system coming out soon.
God,
If
I hope
not
so.
by the end of this year,
Yeah,
early next year. But what I'm thinking about is yes, there are plenty of games that are under Nintendo's thumb right now that they have not even bothered releasing. They've been sitting on for quite
yeah.
a long time. Like you just said, rumored like remakes, rumored like sort of like remasters of classic games. I've heard of rumors also of like the Fire Emblem game, which could be based upon like the third game in the series, which had to do with Marth as the lead character, if
Uh,
I'm not mistaken. But the Zelda Ocarina of Time stuff, I mean, Kid Icarus rumors, I mean, but
oh yeah, the Kid Icarus one. Yeah.
if there's anything,
Oh, it's the
if
genealogy of the Holy War.
the genealogy of
Yeah,
the Holy War, okay, yeah. But if there's anything that I've learned about Nintendo over the past 20, 30 some odd years, is like, oh, how should I put this? And I had the phrase in mind here. It's like the only thing you know about Nintendo is you're
yeah.
not
You
really
don't know.
sure about what
Yeah,
Nintendo.
yeah.
Yeah,
The only thing you know
exactly.
about them is you don't know what the fuck they're gonna do. Yeah. They are.
Because nothing
Yeah,
is for
yeah.
sure.
Nothing. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great. Yeah, like even though like the most obvious thing that everybody wants is like, nah, we're not gonna do it. Like, we're just never gonna do it. Like, hey, Star Fox, no, we're not gonna do it. You kidding me? Come on, F-Zero, no, no, not happening. Um, Yeah, but I mean, going back to this direct though, that we're most likely going to have, kind of stuff I've written down here. Gables, we know about Mario vs. Donkey Kong. I believe that's coming out next month.
Yep.
Princess Peach is coming out in March. Luigi Mansion
Yep.
2, Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, we do not have release dates for, so you can assume that we
Right.
maybe will get release dates for those. Um, I believe, well, I think Thousand Year Door says summer. Luigi Mansion 2 and Thousand Year Door have are summer. I can't remember what the other one I don't think is actually
Yes.
has even a window. Um, that's the kind of stuff that I feel like that slam dunk will be there. Other stuff I've written down here potentially like there's that obviously that Fire Emblem remake that could just be coming to the Switch. Also, Metroid Prime 2 and 3 remasters, and there's that long talked about that we pretty much know is real, but for some reason just hasn't happened yet. Is the Zelda Wind Waker Twilight Princess bundle, which
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo likes to put out a Zelda game every fiscal year. So maybe,
Mm-hmm.
what Tears of the Kingdom came out in May, new fiscal year is in April. Maybe like there's a blank space in that. There's a Taylor Swift reference for you. In that calendar there, maybe they put it out in like a June or May or something. If like we already got we got Peach and we got Mario vs Donkey Kong February March, Thousand Year Door Luigi's Mansion probably maybe like if we're assuming the new console's coming out in
Right.
fall, maybe this is like the shit that pads out, the spring and summer. What about you?
Well, I'm in agreement with you, dude, where it's like it could be a whole bunch of different things. I mean, we could just get a direct or something where it's just a padding up until around summertime where they just start releasing their heavy hitters. I mean, that's the thing about Nintendo. I mean, they don't have to show their guns early here. They could just lead into what they're going to potentially do. Even if it's like a subtle tease of like a couple games and do play it safe by showcasing the games that they're going to be like releasing at the first fiscal quarter of this
Yeah.
year, and then just have like a couple things that they tease about and stuff. But yeah, man, I don't think we're gonna see everything at once at
No.
this direct. I think it's gonna be spoon fed over the course of about six
Yeah. No.
months.
I like I said, I think this is what I'm anticipating is like we're gonna get more gameplay, more details in the games we already know about. Maybe get some release dates, maybe a couple other things announced. But it's just like you look at it like last year was great because we got Tears of the Kingdom and we got Mario Wonder. But I mean, for the, like
Yep.
you look at the rest of it, it was just kind of padded out with ports and remasters. Um, so I feel like I mean, you look at this year, it's all it's a Mario versus Donkey Kong. It's a Princess Peach game, which is a brand new thing, which could be cool, but I don't think is going to set the world on fire. But I think it'll be a good solid game. Like I always talk about, Nintendo can just shit out a 7 out of 10. Like the baseline for Nintendo is like they can't not make a 7 out of 10 unless it's codenamed Steam. Um, and it's just a matter of how much work, how much time and effort do they want to put into making this game better. You so yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we're just right now. It's just like they're just putting out shit. It feels like the end of the 3DS, where it's like, yeah, it's not like this is better than the end of the 3DS for like the last for like 3 years. They just said, yeah, no, we're not giving up on the 3DS, but like it was clearly they were giving up. They gave up on the 3DS. They're just putting out like Wii U ports
Hmm.
that were like bad, like really poorly done. So
As an attempt to cash in upon what they could sell on the
yeah,
Wii
yeah.
U.
Well, and it's just like, hey, we have this platform that has 130 million units out there. It'd be stupid of us not to put these games out on here while we have this mass audience. So, and
Mm,
like I said, we see the quarterly sales report from them 4 times a year, and it's just like the sales numbers they put out are just astronomical. Like some of their like lower tiering selling games are better than some of the top selling games from other companies. So, um, yeah, like they just shit out 10 million unit for like I don't even understand it. Like Metopia sold over like 2 million copies. Like what are we what is happening? You're right. It's like Barry Bonds' head pre
well,
and post steroids. It's like this doesn't make any sense.
oh god. But don't be surprised if we come to like a direct, like say the next one, and all of a sudden we're getting like these announcements for 3DS only, like games coming to the
Yeah.
Switch.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. Yeah, Luigi Mansion 2. Um I mean, it'd be awesome if they actually put out that what's the Link Between Worlds? I'm still hoping they put that out eventually on the
Oh yeah, Link Between Worlds and stuff. But I'm talking about certain games like, say, Dylan's like Rolling Western. Like the downloadable
Didn't that come to Wii
content
U?
ones. I think
I
possibly.
don't know
I'm
if it's
not
on
sure.
Switch.
Pocket Card Jockey.
That's
That
on
was another
Switch.
one.
That's
That
on
was
that.
it's Pocket Card Jockey is on
Pretty sure. Or
Switch.
I know it can. I know it's on phones.
It's on
Yeah,
iOS, but it's not on
jockey.
Switch. But yeah, I'm just thinking about some of the 3DS
Oh,
games
you're
that have
right.
only
Yeah,
like come out on 3DS, like say Sakura Samurai or like, oh gosh,
those were even like I don't.
Web.
Yeah, I don't. I'm just
Yeah.
like what's something that's like bigger from them that they can put out. That was on the 3DS.
Bigger. So it's on the 3DS. I mean, Kid Icarus Uprising is one of those
Yeah, I mean
games.
that's been long rumored too. So I mean that's another one that could be eventually
Yeah.
come out for them. Um, yeah, I don't even know. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but this is like I think this is like but I mean kind of what we're like this just shows you like our expectations for the rest of the Switch lifespan of like
Yes.
this is like the best case scenario is these games are locked on the 3DS. Which would be great, like to come out on
Yes.
other platforms that are still alive. I'd love for that to happen, especially if we got cross play or cross gen play.
Oh, we better get
Oh my god,
cross-gen,
I'm gonna
boy.
lose my fucking shit, Gables. You've heard me bitch about Nintendo for years now, even though I love them on this podcast. There will be fury. There'll be flames shooting out of my fucking ears if we come to find out this thing isn't doesn't have cross gen on it.
Dude, it'd be like exactly how I felt when fucking PS4 wasn't backwards compatible with
Yeah,
PS3 games and stuff, that I had like about 40, 50 damn games and stuff, and like I couldn't play a lot of those damn games on that system because of how batshit crazy the freaking PS3 was to
yeah,
develop
yeah.
for.
With the cores, and all, yeah. I don't know. Um, God, yeah, I'm gonna lose my goddamn fucking mind if they don't do it. So, I mean, we're just gonna have to wait and see, though. Yeah, it's well, like I said, this is right now. It's just kind of like I feel like this year we're like there's some good games coming out like we know about are coming this year or have even have release dates already. But I feel like it's like I just feel like there's so much we don't know. Like we got
That's
the
true.
PS5 Pro come out this year. Um, I feel like this is like it's setting up the seems like everything is setting in place for Xbox to finally have that really great year where they have like multiple big bangers in one year. Like we've seen a lot of starts and stops and like well, these multiple games get delayed. Like this was gonna be the year. So like we thought last year was gonna that year. Like Redfall disappointed. Hi-Fi Rush was amazing.
Right.
But Starfield, um, people either really love that game, like game of the year contender, or just didn't like it at all. So um, there wasn't really an in between there. So um,
But ultimately, this is Microsoft's chance to have a great
mm,
year of game
yeah,
releases that they've been trying to do now for over 10
yeah,
years.
yeah,
They don't have this up and stuff to what their standard that they want it to be at, then I don't see them ever
yeah,
fucking doing
yeah.
it.
I mean, well, he just got Activision, like Bethesda's reloading here. So
Yeah,
like
yeah.
ever no, but like this is like the year. Like we look at like PlayStation, it's like what the fuck's going on? Like PlayStation, we got like what are we looking at here? Like Concord, like it was like their like the Firewalk Studio like extraction shooter game, like Helldivers 2, like
Dude, that's a good point. I mean, besides like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and like the remastered thing of Last of Us Part 2, it's like we don't know
yeah,
shit about what
yeah.
Sony's really
I think
coming
Rise
out
of
with.
Ronin is PS5 exclusive, but
Oh yeah,
like I mean
yeah.
these are
Rise of
third party
Ronin.
deals. Like these aren't like I don't consider those necessarily like on the par of like first party. Like that's a big deal for them, yeah. But like I don't consider like Final Fantasy 16 like a big like I
Right.
don't count that as like first party or anything. But yeah, like I mean like it's been a long time since like PlayStation's had like a quiet year. I don't know if they've had one. I could be wrong since like 2014 maybe. I don't know. I can't. I honestly don't. Maybe 2015. They had the Bloodborne in there. I don't know if they had anything else first party from them. But they've had like multiple big games come out every year, and this is the year where it's like I don't know. Like we usually have a pretty good idea from them, and it's like we got nothing. So other than
At least not till
yeah,
next year.
I mean obviously like like it's literally January 13th right now, so they could like
Hmm.
announce 17 big games tomorrow coming out this year, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, never mind. But I don't know. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on here, Gables. We got to talk about this. I didn't think we were gonna have time for this one, but we got to talk about it, Gables. There's been
All
some
right.
new developments here. Apparently, so we've been talking about this for a long time now. The Metal Gear Solid remake,
Yeah.
the original Metal Gear Solid One remake. Of like people have been like I don't know if it's ever been officially reported or if it's just people have been wanting it of a Blue
Uh-huh.
Point full blown remake of Metal Gear Solid One. Um, Obviously they did the HD remasters for 2 and 3 and what the
Yes.
fuck's the one that was on PSP? Peace
Peace
Walker, thank
Walker.
you. They did the HD remaster for those 2 generations ago on the
Yes.
360 PS3, and then basically the Metal Gear Solid collection is literally just a port of those ones to these consoles, and I mean
Hmm.
literally that's what they are. Um, so this is I can't remember the guy's name, but the person that's leaking this information out recently has a history of being correct. Like he actually talked about the Valhalla, God of War Ragnarok Valhalla DLC before it was
Oh my
revealed. That
God.
he kind of talked about that, but
I think I know
He
what you're
is
talking about.
so apparently this game has been in development for several years. It is as of right now
Hmm.
only planned for PS5. And the leaker,
Okay.
kind of mainly his history is known for leaking PlayStation news. So if you want to connect some more dots here between Blue Point and Metal Gear Solid Real One, like there's some smoke and some potential fire here. So, did potentially he create
Hmm.
the smoke and the fire himself? Yes, but it's potential that maybe Gables it's happening.
Really
Yeah, I don't know. I
interesting.
mean, Metal Gear Solid One is the reason I play games. I've always thought about Pokemon Yellow and Metal Gear Solid One were life changing events for me playing those games. So obviously, I would absolutely love um, a full blown remake, especially if it's Blue Point doing it. Like they've shown time and time again, they do a great job of modernizing um, these games into today's era. Like
Yes.
especially look at like Shadow of the Colossus and Demon Souls. Like they're on like they find a way of keeping the things that we loved about those original games, but also making them so like they're more enjoyable to play now. So man, like I want this pretty much. I think any more than any other game. This is probably the thing I want more than anything. I honestly don't know if I could think of something else that I want, other than like Kojima making Metal Gear Solid 6, which will never happen.
So what we're basically going on of is new potential rumors that Blue Point Metal is
Well,
developing a remaster of.
not necessarily Blue Point, but apparently a remake of MGS One is far into development.
Hmm. Well, you know what? That would be more than likely the case because of how Konami's been like really like given permission like to other developers and other things to like use some of their properties and stuff to either remaster certain games or like develop full on games and stuff. I mean, we're seeing it right now with the Silent Hill 2
Yep,
remake that's
yep,
going on. So it wouldn't be out of the question if somehow PlayStation actually went to the Konami. It's like, hey, we want to use Metal Gear Solid, the original one, for a point for remaster, and then a point Blue Point to modernize it. That would be most exciting. I mean, we've heard rumors about this now for the past
yeah,
couple of
yeah,
years. But if it actually comes to fruition, I will be honest to God excited because Metal Gear Solid is a fantastic game. It's a masterpiece of a game, in my honest opinion. It's one of the few games that when you look upon the back catalog of, say, the original PlayStation, that is at the top. It's almost at the
mm,
apex of the original PlayStation because of how masterfully done it was at its time of release. Metal Gear Solid was influential in a bunch of the stealth game like category and stuff for years. But yeah, it's I would love for it to be like remastered and like put out for the PS5 and then have all this modern stuff. I mean, that's the hope that I would have personally. I mean, come on. I mean, just the thought
yeah.
of it where you're just going through Shadow
Oh,
Moses and everything's all in crisp 4K
Unreal
and
Engine
shit,
5
like that opening scene and
on the
then
elevator.
that whole scene and stuff like that where I think what was it that Meryl goes through and knocks out Johnny and steals
Yeah,
his
yeah,
uniform
in the
and
prison.
stuff, and then all of a sudden you walk in a snake and there's like a naked dude just
Yeah,
like falling
just like
back.
yeah, in a downward dog position here. Yeah,
Oh god. But oh yeah. Yeah, I'd be really
yeah,
excited. Possibility of it happening, I mean, I'm gonna say like about maybe 40%. It's definitely higher now than what it was a couple of years
yeah.
ago, but man, I'd really
Yeah,
love to see
I
it.
mean, we've had like a lot of like people report on this. Like Jason Schreier's talked about this. I think Andy Robinson's maybe talked about it too. Is like a lot of discussions like PlayStation, at least was trying to talk to Konami about potentially like making, um, like making a Castlevania game, making Metal Gear game, and Silent Hill as well. And well, obviously we found out like, Silent Hill is being made by a bunch of different people, but as far as we know, it's no PlayStation people. Doesn't mean it's not happening, but we know that that they're trying to do some shit here. Obviously, the big thing is like I always talk about Konami is like, like the big thing is like they saw what Capcom's done the last 6 years, and it's like, well, okay, like oh,
Yep.
well, there is a market here. Like they kind of thought games was over, and it's like, oh no, like they've turned it around. It's like cool, but the problem is like Capcom turned around by like, hey, like what if we just really take care of our games, our big IPs that make us money, and be smart about them and make great games, and also like don't like make remakes that are great to play, but don't like insult the fans of the past. And it's like they just put
Exactly.
out. It's just been they haven't missed. Like what Exo Primal's their biggest miss, and that game sold like 1 million copies. So it's like as far as like as far as like Monster Hunter and Resident Evil, like they've been killing it. So then he's like, see, like Konami is like big
Absolutely.
first big foray back. It's like, hey, we care about video games again. Here's literally a port of a game that we ported 10 years ago on like for $60. Like, who the fuck do you think you are, Nintendo here? Um, we're gonna put out like we're just gonna literally it's just a ROM of Metal Gear Solid One, and it runs poorly, and their loading screens are terrible. And then it's literally just the HD remasters that we sold you, but we're gonna take away Peace Walker, and we're gonna sell it to you for $60. This even though this was $40 10 years ago, but it had more.
Right.
Obviously inflation, all that shit, but whatever. Um, and it's literally the exact same game. Like we haven't done anything to it. So not the best foray. And then we saw that Silent Hill game that came out last year that didn't do well. I think is the nice way to put it. Apparently, Gables, do you know that game is still actually going?
Mm.
Yeah, they're
No,
still
I didn't
doing
know
daily.
that.
They still have daily events going on. I don't how I
Oh
don't
my
know,
God.
but I don't know. Good for them.
Who's actually playing this game,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
wonder.
right. Like people that probably invested early and they just like it's just chasing good money after bad or bad money after good or whatever. Um, but I mean I don't know like this Metal Gear Delta thing that they're super weird about announcing who was even making it. We've heard about a lot from Konami, but they didn't like the fact that like Kojima was kind of forward facing, and then who was the Castlevania guy? Igarashi, yeah,
Igarashi.
like they didn't like the fact that those guys were like kind of bigger, like on par with the brand of the game, that the franchise, like so like they were like when they originally revealed Snake Eater remake, like whoever was making it, they didn't even like wasn't even in the trailer. Like they like announced like multiple like 2 days later. Finally, they like people figured out who was making it,
Mm.
and it was people that was rumored for the longest time. But I don't know. Like you look at Silent Hill, like
Right.
Silent Hill 2 is being remade by Blooper Team, like which I don't know. I played fuck what was that game that came out on Xbox a couple years ago? I can't remember what it is. It was actually pretty. It was like basically their own version of a Silent Hill game. I thought it was pretty fun. It was on Game
Right.
Pass. It's on everything now, but I thought it was pretty good. But I don't know. I know people do not like do not like Blooper Team, so I don't know. Like they've been very weird about this whole like coming back into video games. So it's like I'm trying to not get super excited here, but it's also like Metal Gear Solid is one of the most important video games to me of all time. So it's like I'd appreciate it if like they put some love and care into this thing, because like, but they also know like, hey, these dumb fucks are gonna buy it anyways, and yeah, I'm gonna buy it anyways. Like I bought that Metal Gear Solid collection, even though I knew it was bullshit. I still bought it. We're all hey, we all like bitch about when other people do things that we don't care about, but as soon as somebody does the exact same thing to something we care about, we like completely lose our minds, and we break, we buy
Buy
it.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
Impulse buy it.
So yeah, like we have morals until until we have to tell it affects us, then we no longer have morals. So it's easy to have morals when you don't give a shit about the thing. But anyways, um, I'm hoping it's good. I hope it's Blue Point. Nothing would make me if it's Blue Point making it outside of Kojima doing it. There's nothing that would make me happier than Blue Point doing it. Like I at that point, I know it's gonna be good. It's gonna be quality. And I'll be there day one to buy it. I'll be there to buy it day one regardless. But I'll happily give them $70 if it's Blue Point on the docket there. So, but Gables, let's move on. Um, let's move on to what we've been playing here. Pretty much,
Okay.
we actually have flew through those topics a lot faster than I thought. Uh, Gables, do you want to go first? You want me to go first, buddy?
Well, let's have you go
All right.
first this time.
I have not been playing much Gables. It's been kind of nice. Like the last, like 2023 was just an onslaught of video games. I talk about like I beat like
Right.
27 different games last year. I played over like I think I played like 35 games, not including like Madden and shit.
Yeah.
Like that's just like different games I played like came out. Not all of them came out last year, but like I think like 3 or 4 were like games that came out previously. Some games were games I just replayed again, like
Yep.
Jedi Fallen Order or whatever. But I mainly it's been nice. I haven't beat a game since RoboCop Rogue City. That was I beat that on
This is
I beat that on
RoboCop, huh?
Thanksgiving, so it's been nearly 2 months since I beat it. So it's been kind of nice. Like really, like I've jumped into a couple games, like they like see if anybody
Yeah.
tickle my fancy here, or but it's been kind of nice to just like not have like I love playing video games, but sometimes it's like when you have like games to play, sometimes it can be a little stressful. Especially like last year, there were so many games that came out that were like also like there's a lot of games that came out, but also a lot of big games that came out. Like there was
Yes.
multiple like I think three different games I played that were over 50 hours long, not including Madden, which is like that's like 180 200 hours right there I put into game. Um, then like I think there was another 4 or 5 that I played that were like 30 plus hours. So it was just a lot of big games last year. It's been kind of nice to just like not being buried in multiple games or not having like I have this 60-hour fucking RPG I have to play. You know, so it's been kind of like I've just been playing a lot of Madden, and I'm playing a lot of Fortnite. I got about to see I talk about when we did like kind of into last year. Um, I after they announced Peter Griffin and Solid Snake are coming to Fortnite. Finally, like I'm like cool. I usually jump in like once a year. I'll get into like really hardcore into a season, and this is my season I'm getting into. And I finally you had to get to like level I want to say was it 64 or 74 you had to get the Peter Griffin to unlock him in the battle pass, and I finally got there. I unlocked him, so that's been pretty cool.
Nice.
I did buy Bender from Family Guy from Futurama. I did buy him, so I played a bunch as him, and then Solid Snake I think is coming out in like 2 weeks. To
Solid
Yeah,
Snake.
he's the other big thing. The TMNT, the Turtles are also in this season as well. Um, so
Oh boy.
I didn't buy them though. I wonder if they're more expensive or cheaper than the Street Fighter 6 skins. Um,
They're probably
I
cheaper.
think actually yeah, I think they're like $30 for all four. Um, but anyways, oh, and then they also have April O'Neil's in there as well, which is kind of cool. But anyways, I don't know what they haven't said what you have to do yet to get Solid Snake when he does unlock. He's part of the battle pass, but I don't know what you have to do. Hopefully, I've done enough to get to him. I don't know like if there's like a tier I have to get to. I just like at this point, just give me the fucker. I bought the season pass. I've actually just signed up for the Fortnite crew, which is like their monthly subscription, which it's like $12 a month. But for $12 a month, you just get the whole battle pass, which is $15 by itself, and then you get I believe
Mhm.
$10 in Fortnite bucks and V bucks back. So I was like, oh, I'm actually like saving money and I'm getting money back for buying this, so whatever. So I just signed up. I'm in the second month of that. I can cancel anytime, but I just got to keep doing that. So I'm just looking forward to getting that. But I'm having a lot of fun with it. I think I've won like 4 games this season. But I've played like probably close to 100 games at this point this season. Like some of those games can get long, like I've had games where I'm like because you have your dailies you can do. I don't play every day. I'm not like that crazy about it,
Yeah.
but like I'll if I get off a decent time at work, I'll play a couple games for bed or on the weekend I'll grind a few games. But like if you get deep into the game, you're getting like that top 10, top 5. Those games get 15, 20, 25 minutes long. So uh yes,
Oh yeah. I've been there with
yeah,
certain
yeah.
games.
So I'm having a lot of fun doing that. There are games though, Gables I've been jumping into. All this talk about Metal Gear Solid, Solid Snakes and Fortnite, all that. I just getting that itch, Gables. I bought that MGS Master Collection last year. Same day I bought
Hmm. Yeah.
RoboCop Rogue City, and I finally jumped into it. And I haven't played through the original MGS one in probably close to like 20 years. Uh, Probably mid
Yeah.
2000s when last time I actually played through that game. And like I talk about like Resident Evil 4 is the game I played through more than the other game. MGS 1 is a close second. I've used to play through that game religiously all the time. It's not a very long game actually when you get past the cutscenes. Honestly, um,
Well,
I
no,
remember
it's
like when
not.
Twin Snakes came to when they did the remake for that on GameCube. I bought that and I played through um, all the different settings, like very easy, normal, hard, and very hard. I played through all those. Yeah, I played. Yeah, anyways, I played this game a fuck ton. So I went back played, and like I said, it's literally just like it's a shitty ROM of this game. It doesn't run very well. Looks like shit. Plays like shit. The loading's bad. Um, Playing through that, this game just doesn't age very well. It's unfortunately like that generation of like games is like just kind of hard to go back to. And like man, it's just I'm playing. I just put it on easy. I'm playing through it, and I'm just like, man, like it's just like so frustrating. Like the buttons don't work. Like, like it's just not smooth. Like when I want to go like just choke a guy out, like I'll end up bumping into him because like
Right.
randomly or like sometimes he grabs him, sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes I accidentally just I kick him instead. I don't know. It's just
Oh yeah, holding down the shoulder buttons and stuff to cycle through the
yeah,
menus, and then like pressing the square button to
yeah. Everything
shoot.
is just yeah. Shooting is a fucking nightmare, especially because you don't even have like Twin Snakes. So you have like you can go in first person mode, and this you just don't have it. So it's like you can never really tell exactly where you're shooting. So yeah, I got through.
Yes.
It was fun though. Just like I said, I haven't beat this game, like gone through like a game, like a whole playthrough in probably close to 20 years. It was like I immediately opened. I knew where all the rations were at. I knew how to get the
Mm,
SOCOM early. Knew how to get the thermal goggles early. I knew how to do like I knew where all the hidden trap or all the trap doors were at on basement one. Like I knew everything immediately. I knew exactly like what walls to blow up when he gets the revolver ocelot in that first boss fight. I knew like it was just like back of my hand. Like I knew everything. I knew where to go. I knew how to do everything. No problem. Um, I beat the revolver ocelot boss fight. I did the fight against
yes.
the tank with Raven in it.
Right.
Um, yep,
Vulcan
and I
Raven.
got
Yeah.
close to the cyborg ninja. I believe was the next. Yeah, I think he's next.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, the Cyborg
I got
Ninja.
close to that,
Yeah.
and I was just like, I'm just not even having like I'm loving the nostalgia, but I'm not like playing. I'm not liking playing this game. Like I'm really like I'm like enjoying the cutscenes. I'm like nerding out about this shit. I just don't like playing this game like right now. Like
It also doesn't help when you're playing a shitty ROM
yeah
of it
yeah. It's
too.
like man like they put. I honestly think maybe the PS1 version might be better than this version. Um,
It actually, Tyler, now that you mention it, yes, it definitely is better in terms of fidelity and also in terms of frame rate. The version you're playing is actually worse than the original PS1 port.
makes sense. I'm just like I'm so frustrated. Like I just feel like I'm just like fighting the controls the entire time, and just like I don't know. Anyways, um, but I did start playing MGS2. Uh, their game I
Yeah.
probably beat. Probably actually not as that many times. Like, I mean, back then I probably beat it. I probably beaten it like close to a dozen times probably at this point. But MGS3 I probably beat like 20 times. So MGS1 I probably
Mm.
beat fucking I don't even know 30. You know, honestly, maybe MGS1 I beat more than Resident Evil 4 now that I think about it. Cause I probably beat MGS1 easily
That's
30
definitely
times.
a lot more times. It's actually a lot more times that I've beaten all those Metal Gear Solid games. I mean, I've only went through the Twin Snakes, MGS2, MGS3 here once alongside MGS4, Guns of the
I've only
Patriots when
beat that
that
one
one
once.
first
Yeah,
launched.
MGS4 is the only one outside of 5. That's the only one I beat once is 4. Uh, but yeah. So I think about it after all these years, MGS1 is probably I beat way more than. And plus, it's just way shorter. Like you probably beat that game in like 4 hours. Skip all the cutscenes.
Hmm.
But anyways, been playing two. I just finished the tanker part. Um, so I'm just now getting the part where you play as Raiden. Spoiler alerts for a 23-year old game.
Oh,
But yeah,
okay.
so this is much much better. I cannot believe the difference of these games. Like that MGS 1 and 2 was 3 years difference. Like between the like 1 and 2 coming
Yes.
out. And it's like I know it's a different console, but like people talk about like the difference and like oh going from PS 3 to 4 to 4 to 5. Motherfuckers no. go from fucking
PS1 to
go from
PS2.
1 to 2 and go from 64 to GameCube. Holy shit, man! Yeah,
Yep. Major
goddamn,
change.
yeah, it's incredible, and just like having first person, all that like the controls are so much better. The fact that like um, in MGS1, the shitty ROM in this thing, um, still have to hit circle for confirm and X for exit, which just drive me fucking batty. I was constantly like on top of fighting all the other controls, I was fighting that as well. So it's just yeah, anyways, I'm having a blast. It's pure nostalgia for me. I just put it on easy. Like I'm not here to like challenge myself. I really just like I just want to go through. It's just pure nostalgia at this point. It's like when I go back and play like Pokemon games. It's just like I'm just enjoying this for the nostalgia. And that's kind of what I'm doing. Like, and I don't know. I mean, I'm excited for a couple games come out like next week. Like Last of Us Remastered 2 is coming out next Friday. Definitely gonna jump into
Yep.
that day one. And then Power World's coming to Game Pass. That Pokemon Guns game. It's an early access, but
Mm.
I gotta play it. I don't know. I don't know if I'm probably not gonna put a ton of time into it, but I gotta know. I just got I'm like, how the fuck has Nintendo not sued them already, or Pokemon Company? Those people love suing people more than anybody. They're suing people that make $30,000 a year for millions of dollars for putting ROMs out on the internet. You kidding me? They
Yeah, I
haven't. The
know,
fact
right?
that they haven't like destroyed the country that this game was made out of is blowing my mind right now. Like I'm surprised they haven't sued the government. So, anyways, I'm excited to check those things out. But Gables, what have you been playing, buddy?
All right. To start things off for this year, I've just decided just to start things off kind of a bit slowly as compared to last year because I was on a major retro binge like towards this time last year. A lot of my games I played through last year, was like basically replays, if not a lot of retro stuff I played for the first time. So I think, actually, no, I know for a fact after recounting a lot of things, I beat like about 40 games or something over the last year. But as far as what I've been playing for this week, it's been a couple different things. I was trying to start up the epilogue thing for Pokemon
Oh yeah.
Scarlet and Violet and stuff because that thing came out not too long ago. But I actually every time I try to start it up, I start getting kind of tired and stuff, and I try to go to sleep right after. So I decided to download the demo to the new Prince
Oh
of
yeah,
Persia
yeah.
game that's going to be coming out in a few weeks, and I started playing some bit of that because I heard, okay, this is sort of like a Metroidvania style of game. Download the demo, and I played out a good solid like 20 minutes of it. I didn't finish up the demo and stuff because I liked a lot of what I've played of it. It's definitely feels different to the point where there's a lot of customization type of stuff for how you can play this game in terms of difficulty, in terms of like certain like target location stuff. I mean, apparently there is a feature inside this thing where you can turn it on. You can just point where you have to go and stuff like that in order
Yeah.
to try to not
I
get
think it's
so
adventure
lost
mode
because
or
one of the
something.
major critiques, that's the thing though, it's sort of like the very easy mode or whatsoever, where the difficulty is like the lightest possible. So what I'm saying is it's the type of game to where you can adjust it to almost what you like and stuff and play through it and have a fun time just going through and completing the game if you choose to. But combat is smooth, the game looks fantastic. You take the role of a like an assassin, well, they like take a role of like a soldier by the name of Sargon, and Sargon is tasked with trying to find like a traitor along so that's kidnapped the prince. So him and like a whole bunch of his comrades are at this mystical place that they soon realize is like something that's like been cursed with like some of these sort of like time crystal stuff. But from what I've been playing so far, it's sort of like a typical Metroidvania, but yet the gameplay is super quick, super responsive. It looks fantastic for being set in the time frame which it is. This is a pretty damn fun Prince of Persia game. I mean, I haven't played too many Prince of Persia games other than maybe a little bit of Warrior Within, little bit of like the 2008 one. So I may not have had a lot of experience, including like the original NES. Like there was a port on the original NES of the Prince of Persia. So honestly, the Metroidvania kind of style is like a natural evolution of the original Prince of Persia release, say, like on PCs, because that's exactly what you were doing, a lot of trial and error from those games in order to try to get to the point where you save the princess and all the other stuff. But there are definitely a couple different things you can go through to improve Sargon. There's these type of trees called the Waku Waku trees, right? To where there's save points, they regenerate your health, and on top of that, you can learn different types of techniques or like equip different types of amulets, and that'll give me certain boosts and power ups. You don't level up in this game, no. There's no leveling up kind of tree in this thing. You gather a lot of currency in terms of like these specific type of time crystals, and that's how you improve certain aspects of your weapons or certain aspects of with other vendors, like other NPCs that you go to, it will like unlock certain abilities of the weapons you had before, or now you can shoot more arrows. It's kind of standard affair of updating your character without that actually being like a leveling system to do like a skill tree to unlock stuff. It's kind of refreshing to see that type of stuff. But what I'm saying is the game looks good. it's super sharp and snappy in terms of the controls. Like you can do your parrying, you can do your dodging, you can do like all sorts of various interesting stuff. And there's so much room to actually combo into certain attacks without you even realizing it. So this dedicated slide button, right? So Sargon can go slide and attack an enemy, right? And it'll pop the enemy up in the air. We can just jump up and just do air combos. Just discovering that type of stuff inside this demo, that was rather enjoyable. But yeah, other than that, Tyler, I mean, I started playing a little bit of Pokemon Crystal because I just kind of felt like it, but I really haven't been playing too many games since it's the start of the year. I mean, I have tried a little bit of games here and there on the PC and stuff, but other than that, though, I mean, that's pretty much all I've been playing. I mean, I've really liked what I played of this new Prince of Persia game.
Cool. Well, very cool. Um, well then, I think that's gonna wrap it up for us. This is our first like actual original show of the year. Um, Gables, we're in. This is year 11, buddy.
Yes,
We're in year
absolutely.
11, my
I
dude.
know, right?
My goodness, it's crazy. Um, but anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. If you like all this, please like, follow, subscribe, check us out everywhere in the description down below. There are links to everything. We're on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, any podcast service that you can think of. We're more than likely on it. Just look for us, Drunk-Nerds, Drunk Nerds Podcast. Whatever you can do to help us out, we appreciate it. Whether it's 5-star reviews, telling your friends, share the links, like us, leave a comment, all that. Really, any of those things, really would appreciate it. Biggest thing you can do if you can just share it with your friends, stuff like that. We're just two guys get together every week and just do this for fun. We don't make any money on this. We don't get anything in return on this. We just do it because we love doing it. And I get to drink a couple beers every week, so it's always fun for that too. But anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. I was Tyler.
And I've been Colonel Gables. So until next time, everyone, have a fun time playing a lot of fun games. But thank you for listening to another fun-filled episode of the Drunk
Hey,
Nerds
Gables.
podcast.
Too sweet.
Yeah, too
Bye,
sweet, man.
guys.
See ya.